Now let's take a look at the rectangle command. It's located in the draw panel on the ribbon. And there are a few ways to draw a rectangle. One is by simply specifying one corner and then dragging up and over or down and over to specify the opposite corner. Another way is by specifying the first corner of the rectangle and then entering D on your keyboard for dimension option, and then specify a length for this rectangle. Let's say we want our rectangle to be 6 inches long by 3 inches wide, so we would enter 6 and then 3, and that will give us a rectangle 6 by 3 inches. And then you can drag the crosshair around to locate what direction you want the rectangle to be positioned, and then simply click the left mouse button. You can also draw a rectangle with a specific area and let AutoCAD assist with the calculations. So for example, we've clicked the rectangle command and we start with the first corner of the rectangle, but then we enter A for area, and let's say we want the area of this rectangle to be 70 units. So we'll enter 70. Then AutoCAD will ask us for a length and length or a width. And whatever we give it, say we give it the length, AutoCAD will then calculate what width we need to have a rectangle that's exactly 70 square units. So let's use the length option. And so I want the length of the rectangle to be 10 in this example. And AutoCAD should calculate the appropriate width, which in this case should have been 7 to give us an area of 70 units. We can also specify the angle of the rectangle. Let's say we want a rectangle drawn at a 45-degree angle. So we'll click the starting point and then we'll choose R for rotation. And at this point we can enter our rotation angle, 45 degrees. And then we can continue drawing the rectangle with the other options that we've already seen. We can also draw a rectangle with a chamfer on the corners of the rectangle. So let's see how this works. Again, we'll start with using the rectangle command, but before we give it the first point, we're going to enter C for the chamfer option. And then we can enter the chamfer distances we want on each corner of the rectangle. And I'm going to use 1 for our chamfer distance. So now as we draw this rectangle, notice how there's a 1-inch chamfer. It's 1 inch over and 1 inch down on each corner of the rectangle. We can also make that a unequal chamfer. Let's say I wanted the first chamfer distance to be 1, but the second chamfer distance to be 2. So now when I draw my rectangle, you should notice that the chamfer distances are uneven. We can also make the corners of the rectangle rounded, and this is called a fillet when you have a rounded corner in drafting and design technology. So we'll first enter the fillet option, F, and then we'll input the radius that we want for these rounded corners. I want to leave it at 1 unit. And now as we draw the rectangle, you'll see it has a 1-inch round on each corner. And the last example I want to show is how to make the lines of the rectangle thick. So we'll use the rectangle command and we'll first enter the W option for width and then specify line width for the rectangle. I'm going to use 0.25, and then we'll draw the rectangle. You'll notice that the line width then has some thickness. At this point, go ahead and experiment with the rectangle command and try to use all of the different options that you've just seen in this video tutorial.